doing another reaction. Today is Animation Monday, so I'm checking out a video from Vinny2 channel. Check out Vinny2 in the descriptions below. Very nice channel. This is when arrogant anime characters got destroyed. So this will be just a list of different animes that he had put, and yeah, we'll just see exactly which ones he chose. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. I don't usually his picks are way different than things that I would think of as far as just if I were to put a list together. So it's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Let's face it, anime is home to some of the biggest arrogant characters in media. I know you agree, and these guys simply carry with them undeniable charisma that makes you just want to cheer them on or get their asses handed to them. Your mileage may vary, but to me, there seems to be no in between. On another note, it seems so satisfying when said arrogant characters get humbled in the biggest possible ways. That's what we're looking at today. I'll be listing my favourite moments in anime when the arrogant character gets destroyed and put in his place. Let's start with Armins vs Zepps.
A lot of blood in this.
It's such a great feeling to be able to talk about Misfit of Demon King Academy again. It's a really fun show that wastes no time telling us what it's about. How does it do so? By giving us this kind of introduction, with the arrogant Zepps being utterly destroyed by our protagonist. And Armins doesn't just kill Zepps, mind you, without even touching his opponent. Armins repeatedly kills and resurrects Zepps, quite literally toying with him and flexing his power again and again. While I won't say it's super satisfying to see Zepps finally grovel because we barely knew anyone, it's still a big way to make a first impression. It's a sign of things to come as Misfit of Demon King Academy goes all the way in integrating the whole One Punch Man thing into the show. Still, it's got some great story developments that keep it from going stale. With a second season on the horizon, it's the best time to get into the series. It's appropriate to follow an Armins moment with a Kirito moment. As a villain, Oberon has one job: be a hate sink. During his time as Sword Art Online's villain, there's nothing redeemable about Oberon or even his real-world counterpart Sugo. He's there to be the villain for everyone to hate and want to see get destroyed, so obviously he had to be this over-the-top arrogant villain with a god complex. Oh, and he's quite a controversial figure too. Seeing Kirito
I stopped watching Sword Art Online
short of satisfying. Never mind the context that could have confused anime-onlys. Never mind Kirito going literally god mode for the first time in the series. Seeing Oberon beg for mercy before getting annihilated was more than enough fan service for fans. He went out in the most painful and humiliating way possible, and I know the SAO fan community had nothing but cheers for this scene. Asta vs Seke is a good introduction to the series.
I haven't watched Black Clover yet. I know a lot of people hate me for not watching it.
While we're all too focused with Asta being noisy at this part of the anime, we've got to admit, he plays the lovable underdog hero well, and Seke serves as one of the
giving it a try,
for the underdog
protagonist.
He's cunning and is the type of guy who would do anything just to make himself look good. Not exactly the most lovable character, and him singling out Asta for the sake of showing off didn't earn him a lot of fans. Well, anyone who watches anime could tell this is a disaster waiting to happen for Seke. You know he's doomed the moment he throws up the spell and dares Asta to attack him. Easily one of the worst mistakes he could have made, but it does make me smile to see him get one shot. The guy never saw that coming, and the way he got defeated should wipe some smugness off him. Before Giorno and his Mudas, we have Jotaro and his auras in this moment right here. Smug, cruel, and petty beyond belief. Steely Dan isn't going to find himself on many people's favourites list anytime soon. Assassinating Enya the way he did won't earn him appeal points, and so does forcing Jotaro to obey him in such a self-indulgent way. Well, Guy took a complete 180 the moment his mind control comes off, and as expected, you see him go back to being the sleazy guy that he is. Good thing that the protagonists are ready this time, easily dismantling lovers as the start of his humiliation. To cap it all off, we have the legendary 3 pages of Aura where Star Platinum relentlessly barrages Steely Dan, completely destroying him in the only way he deserved to go.
I didn't finish Gojo,
seconds
but I did.
That will forever be immortalized in anime form.
Watch a lot of episodes, man. I said I like a lot of catching up to do.
It's not quite the barrage that Star Platinum did, but Takamura landing the decisive punch on Hawk felt so good. There's just a thing with athletes and irrational overconfidence, isn't there? We've had a fair share of those in real life, but I truly think that Hawk puts those real-world athletes to shame. Maybe it's his background, but having persevered through such a tough childhood truly fed that ego of his. In his introduction, the show wastes no time establishing his arrogance. It's Takamura he's facing, but the guy acts like he's going toe-to-toe with some random scrub. To be fair, he had the skills to back the arrogance up. His fight with Takamura was a back-and-forth affair with no shortage of drama and tense moments. The two behemoths collided and completely lived up to their billing. Still, it's clear who the anime wants us to root for. Takamura's no saint, but compared to Hawk's temperament, he might as well be one. That's why when Hawk finally falls and subsequently retires from boxing, there was so much joy. It's pretty wild to see how broken he became as a result of this fight. And hey, I know seeing cocky characters get destroyed is satisfying. So satisfying. The break with a bang. This is Gilgamesh versus Shiro at the end of Unlimited Blade Works. Gilgamesh, ever since his first appearance as an archer servant in Fate Zero, reeks of arrogance.
I was just about to ask, is this part of the Fate series?
No, but trust me, long-time Fate fans were quite surprised at the Wise King's temperament, which
I forgot which Fate I was looking at,
grew up with.
but
Fate Zero was filled with
it was
flexing and a kind
hard
of
to continue it.
Easily backs up.
I'm not a big
felt so redeeming to see him
shonen anime fan,
to Shiro of all people.
but
not even a servant, but a human who's actually quite.
I try to watch different ones just to see if I do like.
Slowly lose his composure in the fight. How can the strongest servant of them all not?
Because I did like My Hero, like Naruto's.
Even when back
did like Bleach for a bit, so I was like, at least
arrogance, and it's his hesitation that cost him a hand and the.
At least let me try to see if there's something else I like. But I just couldn't catch on to Fate.
Gojo versus Jogo is next on the list.
Oh yeah.
Now, here's a turnaround. Jogo's quite the confident villain, as early as his introduction,
Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty nice. I'm waiting on the second season for that.
There's some basis to his confidence, though. At the
to watch
encounter, Jogo showcase.
It's probably a minute before I get a chance to watch it anyways, but
it's quite intimidating and powerful. Sucks for Jogo, though. When his opponent decides to take control of the match, it's all over. Gojo pulls the ultimate Uno reverse by using him as a training dummy as he shows Yuji the extent of his abilities. Now, it's the mentor's turn to show off his superiority and showcase his power. Poor Jogo stood no chance whatsoever, and this whole battle shows why you don't mess with Gojo. Saitama versus Deep Sea King is up next.
Punch.
One of the most emotional scenes in One Punch Man. Deep Sea King's defeat is one of my favourite defeats in the series. This guy quickly built a resume early on, beating heroes left and right. When even Sonic and Genos, among all the other heroes, weren't able to defeat him, it understandably inflated that ego of his. He eventually finds his match in the form of Saitama. Then he foolishly fails to realise that he's punching way above his league and continues the trash talking. So Saitama responds in the only way Saitama could, by defeating him with one punch, ending his reign of terror for good. Most people remember this arc for the Moomin Rider moment, but I think that the aspect of it that relates to having an arrogant villain get destroyed in one hit was quite underrated. After finishing the anime version of One Punch Man, Deep Sea King is still up there in my list of villains I wanted to see destroyed. Luffy delivers a punch that's heard all over the world for our next moment.
One Piece. Not a big One Piece fan.
I know I've talked about this scene quite a number of times already, but how can I not? The Celestial Dragon just had one of the most punchable faces down there, and his attitude throughout the whole ordeal simply doesn't do him any favours. Luffy had enough, and we've got to give dues to the build-up of this scene. You just know that it's coming, and everyone seems to do so. Everyone, except the ignorant Celestial Dragon before getting his brain scrambled. And Luffy gave us one of the most satisfying moments in the One Piece anime. In a series as long as One Piece, that's saying a lot. Lastly, I'd like to end with Ainz versus Clementine.
Overlord.
There are few people insane enough to challenge Ainz to a fight. A powerful and proud warrior, Clementine is psychopathic enough to attempt the impossible. And let's just say that it didn't go all too well for her. She may have had a lot of victories under her belt, but there's only so little one can do against Ainz. In spite of her martial arts skills, in spite of her proficiency for battle, in spite of all the preparation she had, in spite of her bloodlust, none of those were relevant in any way when she finds herself facing the opponent her pride asked for. Big mistake. Normally, you'd feel bad for someone who gets destroyed that badly. Then again, it's Clementine, one of the most arrogant characters the series has given us so far, so we don't need to see a lot of tears shed in this scene. And that's going to do it for my list of arrogant characters getting...
Alright, that was Vinny2's list of arrogant anime characters who got destroyed. So yeah, I think it was a nice list. Again, animes I would never thought about. Just be. But it's a lot of good animes out of it. Overlord, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Punch Man. Yeah. Some other ones I simply don't watch, like the Fate and Sword Art Online. I stopped watching that. I gotta check out the boxing one though. I haven't looked at that anime, and I was like, I do like boxing, so I was like, I want to check it out and see. I definitely check that one out to see how good it is, if I like it or not. So yeah, at first I thought it was Baki. For some reason, when I first saw it, I thought it was Baki. I guess just like how the anime just looks. That's what my initial thought was. But yeah, I definitely gotta check out that one and see. But yeah. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. If there's some animes you wish would have made it on the list, let us know down in the comments as well. If you like this video, please put a like on the video. If you'd like to subscribe to see some more of my videos, please do. Thank you all so much for jumping on and giving me a try. I really do appreciate it. Please do take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, geekdom.